Clem versus MaNa, as we have a best of 5 series, of course, and first round of the upper bracket of the OSC Championship for both of them. Unfortunately, it has to be a Team Liquid team kill. It wouldn't be a real tournament without one, so here we are, Team Liquid team kill to legitimize the OSC Championship Season 8. On the top right-hand side, our blue Protoss player, obviously both from Team Liquid. This is MaNa. He was taking on the Red Terran in the bottom left-hand side. Clem. It's like it's been a couple minutes since I got to cast some Clem games. Just give you a quick update on how these guys did in the OSC season this year. Clem played 21 tournaments, won 8 of them, an 81% series win rate in OSC events, and $6,300 prize money. How about that for some statistics in OSC events? Compared to MaNa, played 31 tournaments, won 3, $1,700 won, and a 67% win rate in the tournaments. So there's a little bit of information for you guys. I was actually just going to Aligulac these two and see when they last played each other, because I feel like the last time they played, I feel like MaNa started to be a little bit more competitive with Clem again. I know earlier in 2020, MaNa and Clem had some fun matches, but then it felt like Clem really figured out TvP a little bit and started to do a bit better again. Oh, wow. Clem won the last 5 times these two met. The last time MaNa won a series versus Clem was back in July. And that was 1 win after he lost 4 more times. But their 2020 results are crazy. It's the first time they'll play in 2021. Sorry, I'll watch the Marine fight in this probe. Let me put the date in and see what their overall score was in 2020. Wow. Clem in 2020, 18-3 in matches, 46-12 in maps. How about that for some stats? As Clem has absolutely just had MaNa's number for the majority of the year. Yeah, there was this is what I was thinking of. Clem and MaNa played a 5-game series in the Last Chance Qualifier EU event. I think that's what I was thinking of. That was a series I remember watching, and it was definitely one which I was like, oh wow, MaNa's like kind of back in it a little bit, right? Looking good again, but yeah, obviously that is that. Adept coming around this right-hand side. As MaNa moves it around here, Twilight Council is setting up for MaNa in the main base. And just going to be seeing some probes building up. Reaper on the way with a Marine now that the reactor is done. So MaNa just going to play Twilight, going to play Blink. Clem going to play into, well, we don't really know yet, do we? As the factory comes online. Doesn't look like the factory's going to swap to the reactor at least, so I guess just a Marine-focused opening. Looks like he will at least go into the starport, of course. No second racks already, so that pretty much only leaves the starport to be built. Reaper hops in and is going to go for a probe right from the start. And the Reaper goes down as well. On gateway into the Robos, doesn't seem like this will be overly aggressive, although 2 more gases, so MaNa's going to stay on 2 bases for a while. He's going to go into a Colossus opening. So he's going to go into a faster Robo Bay, and he's just going to stay away from the 3rd base until probably 6-ish minutes or so. Unless he wants to be very greedy, which would be unadvisable. Now we see Clem, obviously he's building his Raven. That's obviously great if MaNa does end up going Colossus. We know how good the Raven can be against Colossus, shutting those down and nullifying them, etc. Playing out around the bottom side, so moving around. We do have the Blink coming up here from MaNa as well, so Blink will be done fairly soon. A couple of gateways will drop down just off to the left. Getting killed off by the Stalkers, and a couple more Stalkers will just finish warping in as well. We do just have, I mean, Probe, Adept, Observer, all of this setting up around the map. Stimpack, Combat Shield, and +1 attack upgrades coming through here from Clem. And that'll be basically when we next see him getting aggressive at all. Just waiting for those upgrades to finish to go into that. Server pulls around to the side. We do see the bio going to get rid of a set of rocks on the low ground there as well. And just going to be seen again with Stim and Combat still coming through. I'm just going to start making a little bit of a push out at least. Now the Stalkers should dominate this because they have that blink. Problem is they can't blink back very easily here, and they weren't in a good position. So they actually had to kind of go to the right, which means they kind of pull away from being able to keep on fighting. He will get one Marauder mana, so he starts off well with that. There is that kind of... It was a little bit earlier than I suggested. I said 6 to 7 minute third base. It was about 5:20, 5:30, but still a later third with the priority on the Colossi. Due to that earlier gas. Clem just going to take this as a chance to build his third CC in location as well. That's off over in the left side. It's taking the forward base. That will allow him to push forward toward MaNa's third base more easily. Raven's still alive. That Raven is huge right now. I mean, the Matrix on the Colossus is a complete game changer, potentially. So definitely one to keep an eye on. Make sure you don't get the Stalkers blinking underneath and killing that Raven. As the set of rocks is gonna fall. The Raven out the front. Stalker's already put a bit of damage on it, so the Raven gets turned around. Oh, there goes the Raven. I mean, there you go. That's your Raven down. The bio is starting to make a way towards the natural, but I mean, you get those Widow Mines down. He's actually going to get up to the natural expansion. He's going to kill the Robo, so there's only going to be one Colossus on the map. Oh no, and you know what continues here. You go up into the main base. With a few Stalkers here to buy some time. The Stalkers, what can they do? Blink in after this. Super Battery goes down to help out. Medivacs are going to load up. Blink's being used, so you can't blink to chase, and Clem knows that. And Clem just found an opportunity there. As the Raven died as well, right? That's the big kind of kick in the face for MaNa. It's like, oh man, I killed the Raven, and then he just runs to my natural. And that's kind of all because MaNa was just kind of hard committed to defending the third base. He was heavily up this ramp. He was heavily committed up here. He didn't have units in position to realistically shut the push into the natural down. This Zealot is a hero. It kills 2 Widow Mines. Felt as though those mines were going to get out of the way without being punished, but they do get killed by that single Zealot charging through. I think that was actually good target fire by MaNa to actually get rid of those. Off the rocks on the right, and Clem's been very good at picking off rocks, just opening up MaNa's side of the map, making some of his later attacks here much easier to execute, of course. MaNa just doesn't have much right now. He's scared of the drop into the main. That's where the Stalkers are. I mean, MaNa just, because he lost the Colossus, he actually just can't really kind of seem to get on top of everything here. This was actually unfortunate. Clem didn't finish killing the pylons, so the Zealots were able to finish. If you cancel those Zealots, maybe you can stick around and fight a bit longer. Clem just going to play it safe, pull back. And these Robos unpowered again, so just as MaNa's about to go into double Colossus production to play catch-up, he's once again delayed, and he's still stuck on 1 Colossus on the map, and Clem's already building 4 Vikings at a time, so it feels very, very good here for Clem here in game number 1. It seems to be very successful for him so far. Stalkers will finish up. Extra Zealots warping in. Colossi still in production as the 1-1 upgrades on the Forges will be finishing soon. Move toward the upper right-hand side. Maybe he lands on a few Stalkers. The Colossus is up the natural ramp. I mean, yep, hello. Nice to meet you. Colossi, I mean, kind of in a bit of trouble on either side. The Vikings are doing their job as they work their way through it, although now kind of getting picked off by Stalkers. Clem just has too much as the Colossus on the left side goes down. Now Vikings will get rid of the Colossus on the right. There's nothing to defend it. MaNa has to type out GG, and Clem's aggression just never let up in this game, meaning that MaNa was really just kind of left defending. And we will go to the top left-hand side of the map. Our blue Protoss player from Team Liquid And down a game, this is MaNa. Again, when you lose your first Colossus, it just becomes so... Well, you didn't lose the first Colossus, but when you lose the Robust, you're stuck on one Colossus, I should say, right? It's a similar effect. If you lose the first Colossus versus you don't get a second Colossus, you know, you're stuck on one Colossus for such a long time. You just really can't split your units properly, and that was the issue. You can't split your units anywhere you need them to be, and everything kind of felt as though it was just falling over at that point. Of course, Clem bottom right is a dangerous player to play. Once he gets a bit of momentum, his aggression really does just get the job done. No doubt about it. As the probe of MaNa will make its way down to the bottom right-hand side, so moving across the map and looking for a scout into the main base here to see exactly what's going on. Open the natural, gonna go for a little bit of a run around, couple SCVs showing up. Again, just gonna see this SCV making its way to the upper left hand side, so no way up to the top left. We're about to finish, Cybercore about to be done. Rope still moving around the upper side. We do have the Reaper coming across as well. Just going to make its way over then, and really nothing too out of the ordinary, right? I mean, this game, Clem, obviously a little bit different. Doesn't build his Reaper after the reactor or so Reaper's a bit sooner. Otherwise, it is factory. It is a defensive bunker, and, well, for MaNa, we're waiting to see what his tech choice will be, and obviously that's what Clem would like to know as well. As this Reaper comes across, one of the main things he's looking for is, can he get into the base? Can he pick up information? I mean, right now, the information has to be given to him, right? Because you either build the tech structure here, or you build it over here. That's your two choices for building the tech structure. You don't have a third... Oh, no, sorry. There's a pylon here, too. My bad. That's because it's not the fastest possible tech structure, right? Like, MaNa has 100 gas extra in the bank, so you kind of waited for this pylon before building the tech structure. My apologies. I was wrong. I'm going to armory it up right away, puts it in the corner of the base, difficult to scout. So he's going to go cloaked Widowmine drops, and obviously that's something which is really one of those snowball effect kind of build orders. If you start off well, then, you know, if you start doing well with the first set of Widowmines, the next set of Widowmines comes in, that does very well. It's a very frustrating style to play against for sure. Second Adept just going to join up right now. And again, Marines continue to pour out. Widowmine, Starport continue to build up also. Adept's going to shade in, and Marines are there to kind of greet them from the start. A couple of them chasing forwards, and we'll get rid of one. The other SCVs coming down, trying to surround. I mean, this is actually a nice little moment where MaNa's doing pretty well. Losing one Adept means you lose the one-shot potential on SCVs, though, and there's so many low HP SCVs that don't die. That's the biggest shame of all here, is now the Widowmine and burrows as well, so the Widowmine's not going to go off on an Adept, so it's not wasted at all. MaNa might have seen the fact that this armory is done via the Widowmine and burrowing there, though, so that could be something to watch for. It's actually going to be drilling claws as well, so it's not just cloaked mines, it's drilling claw mines. Your reaction times are going to be truly tested. MaNa has to pay such good attention to his bases right here. If he's not paying attention to his bases, he is going to be in a world of trouble. When Widow Mines drop in with drilling claws, you cannot waste any time at all pulling those probes away. If you're like a second later pulling the probes, it's actually bad for you, even more so than just not reacting, because then, you know, if you pull all the probes a second late, they stack up as you pull them. If you don't split away from that, that's even more probes that get killed by the single Widow Mine. So you gotta be on top of this. Medevac flies in. The two Widow Mines will unload. And again, they burrow very quickly, and that's actually kind of a problem for these probes up in the top left, as Clem retargets this mine a few times and actually gets a stalker from it. Where's the observers? One across the map, one at home is coming in. That will defend and clean up in the main base at least, so the Widow mines will go down. Medevac wasn't able to save any of them. And one more medevac, just one mine inside of it. The mine count itself is actually pretty low. Now reactoring out some more. I imagine the medevacs will continue to pick those up and to take them across the map. As Clem actually going to find the probes over here for a moment or two. Just going to unburrow, reburrow. Going to get the probe, and then I think he's just going to keep the mine alive in a medevac and say, okay, well, I can keep the medevac parked here, and that's going to be a comfortable position for me. That's going to be seen out. Two more Widow mines going up towards the upper left-hand side. It's going to go in for the main base. That's going to drop down. That's a dead sentry if you want to get the sentry there. You could have done that. The Widow mine's going to find the probes. It's always nasty when the probes go in this kind of gap here, right? Because they choke up as they pull away. Now you're going to have the third base. MaNa really is doing a good job defending. Stalkers blink for the medevac kill. They don't get it. Obviously, Clem didn't want to take the risk, so he is just going to pull the medevac away. And now MaNa has to move the observer over here. And now the next Widow mine drop goes in the main base. And the fact this is still only 2 observers is really hurting. Clem, oh my goodness, again, felt as though he almost had the target fire on the bigger group of probes. He's like a split second away from killing everything. You know, like multiple times over at this point, I think. Storm drop of all things from MaNa, as we talked a lot about what Clem's up to. It's very easy to when he's dropping Widow mines everywhere, and that's the real point of action in the game. But it has been Storm invested into early from MaNa, and that's weird in the first place. Never mind the fact as wow, the first Widow mine actually did die. Never mind the fact that then you use it as a Storm drop. He gets 6 SCVs in the main for the 4 probes in return on the Widow mine drop. How many has been lost so far then? 13 workers to 7 mines. The average in what, about just less than 2 probes per Widow mine drop? That's really not that bad. You know, that's actually pretty good against Drilling Claw mines, because you got to remember the Drilling Claws themselves are an investment early game anyway. So the feedbacks found a medevac that was flying home. That was low HP, so was just able to finish it off. Yeah, I gotta say, MaNa has made this game playable by having a reasonable defense against the mines. What is scary is the army supply difference. 70 to 30. Especially when you're playing Storm, because if you just get a couple good Storm dodges as Clem, all of a sudden this game is just horrendous for MaNa, because then you just don't have any splash that's reliable. This is a nice denial. 3 Widow mines and a medevac, I believe, just got shot down on the way through, trying to fly through the 4th base location. Stalkers were already there, and that's the first time Clem loses a Widow mine drop without getting anything out of it. That does slow the momentum down a little bit, I guess, for Clem, and I mean, Clem should be looking to slow it down anyway to go for a bit of a larger push. I'm terrified. MaNa has like 1-2 sentries, so he has a few force fields, and then he just has stalkers, and I guess he's about to have 1-1 upgrades. He's about to have charge, but that's not ready yet. As the first force fields come in here, he actually has the Widow mine hit the main gateway forces. Oh my god, and now the High Templar died trying to come into this. The sentries don't have force field energy anymore. Clem scans up. There is not that much energy left. That's the last Storm for the moment. The Archons are now morphing in because there's nothing else to really do here. And as MaNa tries to defend this 4th base, I guess the question really remains if he can. Medevacs into the main as the bio unloads, and you do see the extra Storm coming down, but I mean, this is still going to be a good trade. The Storms were not enough to finish up here. Now you get rid of an Archon and Immortal. Medevac's low HP actually fly into a cannon, so the full Medevac falls. Now we've got a bit of a rally up to the 3rd base. Some units already trying to get into position here. He sees it coming with the Observer. Great defense from MaNa. He was under a lot of trouble, I think, and he really did just sustain himself during that kind of troubling period. And now he's going to get to a point where he's in a much more comfortable spot compared to what he was at. There's no High Templar left, right? Only a couple of Archons, but there are now 2 Colossi on the way, so you're hitting that next stage of the tech here. With the next stage of the tech, you're probably going to have a very good time as well as Clem. Now he's getting probes kills, though. Widow Mine's over here did very well. There's actually one Widow Mine still active. Will go off on just one more probe. 11 workers killed. I mean, finally Clem getting something extra as he comes into this phase with this Widow Mine as well. That's stacked up probes, 5 kills, and he saves the mine despite the cannon. And after Clem threw away some units and drops, we're starting to see a bit of a better response otherwise. Fire through the center, the medevac's coming through. 2 upgrades coming up. Our Stalker, Archon, Colossus army from MaNa making its way down through the center of the map. Widowmine's having to back away. Stalker's blinking in. Medevac's being picked away at, and Archon's coming through as well. Widowmines will connect in. Clean up a couple of Zealots. I mean, it's still a scary army as MaNa kicks into 2-2 upgrades. He's losing probes consistently to Widowmines, though. 16 in this third base, this fourth base, sorry. But the storms! Massive over here as the repairs come in. Wow, so much bio just died. And there's still another storm available. That's the last storm for now. Obviously, you're fighting into 2 Colossi still as Clem, so it's not ideal. You don't really have a proper way to fight a couple of Colossi just yet. Widowmine's going to burrow up, and EMP goes down. Actually gets in there and snipes the Colossus to remove some of the splash damage. Army supplies are very close as MaNa continues to try and make this a thing out down on the bottom right side, but now he has to back away. I feel like MaNa really is just running out of useful stuff, right? No Sentry Energy, 1 Colossus, no Archons or High Templar. He has 2 Archons morphed in now. He's going to run down this ramp. He hits an EMP, Clem. And try and make some usage out of these ghosts. He does have more ghosts on the way, and he's also about to even up the upgrades with the +2 armor upgrades, so I feel like Clem's also surviving. I mean, MaNa survived some tricky stages of the game, so has Clem at this point. As here on Death Order, we have some fun back and forth action. Zealots coming through, chasing down a barracks, and now the Stalkers in some trouble. War Prism is being shot away at, and well, Bio's still trying to push through into this. The storm comes down between the racks and the command center. As they continue to push on through, the Immortal, the High Templar goes down, the rest of these Stalkers being picked away at. I mean, I think Clem has just found MaNa being a little bit too desperate to try and end the game. Now MaNa's going to lose everything. He might not lose the game, leave the game, because he obviously feels as though maybe he killed some SCVs, and maybe that's enough. But now Clem's going to go across the map, and he's going to really challenge MaNa to try and find a defense with this. Good news is Colossi just finished up, so new round of Colossi, and maybe that helps out enough. As he actually, did he just find double Observer over here as well? So 2 of the 3 Observers in the game just dropped down dead through a single scan. And that just removes the vision. Now you just don't know what's going on. Is there a drop on the left side? Is he still pushing the right? You got to take a gamble as MaNa as to where you put your army, because you just don't know. You can see this army moving to the left, because he has no idea at all. So he's actually out of position for the topside base, coming under attack. And that really is just repercussions of a couple of Observers going down. If you don't find those Observers, MaNa knows the army is over here. If you know the army's over here, you obviously just sat there waiting for it to arrive. Ghosts are leading the front line charge. As the Colossus can, that'll be too scary, I think. 4 Colossi now out, and they really will shred through the bio. Multiple Vikings on the way out here from Clem. So over here, just kind of trying to slow down or keep an eye out, I guess, for 5th base more than anything. MaNa will get the 5th up to the left-hand side. Game settles down for a moment or 2. I don't feel like that really favors MaNa, though, because to me that just says that Clem is getting the answer to the rest of this, to everything else up and running. Scan all of this up and running as MaNa brings Stalkers out over the left side. So gonna get shot down. Fire showing up, the Vikings coming through, just going to start fighting. Widowmine's going to burrow and an EMP down to hit a few of the Stalkers. Couple High Templars still up in the Prism, and we do have our Ghosts pressing forward too. Marauder's going to stim into this. Vikings going to just find 2 Colossi to the right. I mean, Disruptor shot is decent, but you lose 2 Colossi from the start. I mean, how do you recover from losing those so quickly? Prism's going to die. Okay, the High Templar got out, but then they're kind of forced into bad storms. Let's drop a feedback as well. I mean, I guess it wasn't the worst. It just could have been a little bit better is all. Move around here. The Vikings looking to see what's up. Storm goes down. Vikings taking some shots. The Bio Army looking to get around to the left. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Storms have done good damage to the Vikings. If the Archons get on top of the Vikings for a second, they're going to die. Good step from Clem to make sure that doesn't happen. And he actually does get the Vikings away from there while killing one of the 2 remaining Colossi. So 1 Colossus remains. And the Disruptors are the big part of this that stop Clem from really pushing through. But Clem just plays it safe. Extra command centers back at home. More barracks on the way. Clem really seems quite confident in where he's taking this right now. He's happy just to build up into a much later stage. I mean, he's heading to the top side. Again, he's just been moving around this map very well, keeping MaNa guessing, keeping MaNa on his toes, not allowing MaNa just to take a position or to progress a position at all. The Disruptor shot is nice though, hits a few units, and again, the Disruptor count getting higher definitely is one of the things that will keep Clem away from being able to finish this game off, because he just can't really ever push into Disruptors without taking a lot of losses. Probes, I don't know why they're trying to long distance the upper right. That seems a very experimental move. But there's just not even a base there, right? Like, they're just literally trying to long distance mine, but maybe something that MaNa set up a while ago before he realized where the army was headed to, and he just didn't realize it in time. Feels like a silly 11 probes to lose out on, though. Now Clem's going to be caught a little bit as he pulls back home. Medevac or 2 being caught off there, and I mean, as the army supplies are still maxing out on both sides, definitely don't count MaNa out yet. Clem's obviously playing the slower game and setting up for more bases on multiple sides of the map, and overall that maybe benefits him. But all it takes is, you know, Clem to have a bad fight, and MaNa can maybe push through, deny a base or 2, and then he's really right back into maybe the driver's seat of the game. Single Disrupt on that upper left, something that you have to expect to be brought down. Feedbacks go down from the High Templar, so no Storm. It does remove the initial frontline Ghost threat as Clem looks like he's just going to play a slow position from this left-hand side, morph this into a planetary, and I mean, I'm not sure how well that works when you consider the fact that the Disrupt is obviously going to zone, or should be able to make some progress down this direction. I mean, Clem now is just going to find bases on the top, though. MaNa will have to recall, right? Like, he's going to deny this new base from coming up, but he's going to lose this base over here, and then his own new base over here likely to go down as well. Depends if Clem wants to back away from this fight now, or back away from the bases, or what. Because MaNa is actually committing across the map, so Clem might just want to go make a play in toward the main base or something, right? Go and hunt down some production. Because obviously Clem losing bases that he obviously was quite enjoying having. What you do is MaNa, you clean out the bottom left, you can maybe clean out this base as well. You don't have to stop right now. I'm just going to go for the mining bases. I think that makes a lot of sense, of course, given the situation. So you just have double lib over here. Archons actually walk into double lib, but MaNa's just busy elsewhere. We'll now drop a Storm, and maybe the double lib goes down. Both players losing a lot of workers. I don't want to pick somebody that this really prefers coming out of it. Clem's army is stuck up over in the upper left-hand side, though, because now MaNa's got his army over here, and if Clem is forced into fights against the Disruptors, that maybe doesn't end well for him. What he can do is make his way into the main base, and that's going to start shutting down production. And that also gives you more options to leave with, right? If you can just lift up into the medevacs, you can already just leave down the left side. Maybe you end up dropping the base that's down the left-hand side in the 9 o'clock for MaNa as well. He's already moving an army towards that base as EMPs go down. making it so that this army is going to struggle to really engage up this ramp. Obviously, engaging up the ramp in the first place is already going to be tough. And now a lot of these gateways, etc., are continuing to fall. Disruptor shots will just not really do enough. They can't get far enough forward to begin with to make this worthwhile. Going to dive in here. Clem has to split against the Disruptor. Heavily stimmed. Medevac's out of energy, but MaNa is losing, well, pylons and all sorts. Over on the left side, Libs are sieged up. I actually don't think you fight this, because as you recall in, the Liberators are going to make short work of a lot of the initial units that are there. It's just, I mean, now you give up, obviously, this main base as well, so this army can get out of the main base and go elsewhere for even more action. 21 minutes, but Clem looks like he's going to make it work out in the end. He's played a pretty fun game. Storm's coming down, chasing Medevacs, but I mean, MaNa has this left side base remaining and this top right base that has no probes on it. 13 workers in the game. Obviously, Clem has 35 SCVs, which is hardly incredible, but it's just enough, considering he has the army to be on both sides of the map. MaNa is really just relying still on this group of Disruptors and hoping that they can maybe be enough to somehow turn this around. I'm not sure if that's really possible at all. That's the Nexus. The Stalker's blinking down, chasing the Marine Marauder. But am I going to get a couple Stalkers here, so they fall. GG is called, and Clem is going to take game number 2. He takes a 2-0 lead in this best of 5. What a game number 2. Physic wasn't playing during the break. But welcome back as we go into game number 3. Bottom right-hand side, blue Protoss player is Team Liquid's MaNa. Taking on the red Terran in the top left-hand side, Team Liquid's Clem. Quick shout-outs just to catch up very quickly. Thank you so much, Mr. Yates, for the 13-month resub. Oswevo for the 13-month resub. Slow Your Roll Jimmy came in with the 6-month resub. And Apollo God for the 3-month resub as well. Thank you, everybody, for the resubs over the last hour or so here on the stream. Appreciate you tuning in and watching some OSC Championship with us today. We've got OSC Championship tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday still. We've got ESL Open Cup Thursday and Monday too. It's a fun week of Starcraft that we've got planned for you before the Last Chance event, which starts up, of course, Tuesday next week. MaNa and Clem giving us a hell of a series so far. Game 2 and Game 1 as well going the way of Clem, but really, MaNa, especially in that Game 2, really putting up a fight, pushing it to the later stages and doing his best to make it work out well. Third map as our probe comes up around to the top side of the map. And is just moving around here, checking nothing else is kind of hidden away. I gotta say, MaNa really handled the early game last time really well. I really feel it's very stressful to keep up to date with those Widow Mine drops, but was able to make it happen. So keeping the Widow Mine drops up and running all the way throughout Clem. It was a little bit later on MaNa started to run into some trouble against them, right when the game got a little bit more aggressive or so. So was able to kind of, once the game got more aggressive, Clem finally find some damage, but then MaNa had good defensive ground armies that really were able to trade out properly and to trade out well, and pushed them into some better positions. So it was really a fun game, and the setup and then the base trade at the end to end it was still kind of exciting too. I personally kind of felt Clem had it all the way along, but it wasn't a guarantee, right? There was potential for it to switch up a bit. Stargate will start at Phoenix. As we do just have our 2 Reapers and a Hellion getting over here. Adept will be taken down already. And 2 Reapers and 2 Hellions start to make their way out down to the bottom right corner of the map as well. So away they go. Drops a grenade and the Adepts get blasted up in the sky. The Hellions going to make their way through with these couple of Reapers. And they're going to start working their way through a few of these probes. So 2 workers, 3 workers, 4 workers already going down. And actually, that's not really a bad start at all. 5 workers killed. And there's still a Hellion here. That's 6. The last shot gets 1 more kill. Into Cloak Banshees, I mean, against Phoenix, there's no detection on the map, right? I mean, a robo on the way, so Observer is possible. Yeah, it's very possible these Banshees have a good time. Obviously, the main part of this is going to be avoiding the Phoenix until you get Cloak up. And the Phoenix can maybe scout the fact that this is Cloak Banshee too, so then they can be more aware of what they're up against and what they should be doing. It's a nice pickup. Picks up the very healthy, fresh mule there. As you're going to see the Phoenix can be like, wait a second, that's Cloak. Cyclone gets a lock on. The Banshee is turning to try and avoid the Phoenix and will stay out of trouble for the moment. But again, it's the heads up that MaNa really needed. Now he knows what to be watching out for. Now he knows what to maybe look to try and position for. Knows he needs the Observer. Although this first Banshee is still coming across the map. There's a shield battery on the way, so that can be a good response to the Banshees as well, of course. One Banshee cannot kill through a shield battery. Two can. But one cannot. And right now it is just the timing for one Banshee, so then you don't necessarily need the Phoenix at home. They're looking for the Banshee coming across the map. It arrives as the battery finishes. Cloak is done, so this Banshee shouldn't die. It will just cloak up to go home. And the two Banshees will end up joining up together. Try and make something of this in the end. Well, I like this push, though. I mean, Cyclone, Marine, Banshee as well. The Phoenix can't do too much lifting here, because if they lift too much, the Banshees are just going to overrun in the skies and do a lot of air-to-ground damage. So you've got to really prioritize. And you might even just be able to pull the Phoenix out of position with the Banshees, right? That's also a part of this. If the Phoenix go to deal with the Banshees, then it's one less thing to defend against the rest of this army. As these Banshees get into the main base, they just need to sync up the shots, which they do now. And out of sync for a moment or so. 6, 7 workers. Missing the Observer. Where's the Observer at? Okay, it's on the way. The one Banshee ran out of energy anyways. Was cloaked up this entire time. Marine Cyclone finding the fight on the front lines, though, and it's a good fight with 3 Cyclones still up and running. Doesn't have any lock-ons. MaNa's just going to leave the game. Clem is going to take the 3-0, and he's going to win it out. An excellent game 2. Game 3, a little bit of a shame. Well.